And so here it is, a beautiful Sunday, and all is well in the world, because all is well within each and every one of us right here and right now. That's what I'm knowing, and that's what I believe, and so it is. And so we're looking at this thing, and if you were to look at it, I muse every time I saw that sign out there that said tension in living, and I thought, I bet 90% of folk are reading that in a negative way. It's a wonderful topic, because tension is a normal faculty of life and living. It's a normal faculty. Without it, we couldn't be what we are and need to be. And so anybody who knows anything about knitting knows that if you don't have the right tension with the stitches, oh my, what a work of art you produce. And it's very different to the pattern you have in front of you. And so we do need a certain amount of tension, a certain amount of torque to keep us vital and vigorous and vibrant and poised. Without tension, we wouldn't be poised. We wouldn't be poised. And to be poised is to be ready and willing and able to meet whatever comes our way without any of that flooring us or touching us or annoying us or upsetting us or moving us or shaking us or whatever. So tension is a good thing. We need tension in a bridge for a bridge to be a bridge. We need tension in a wire. We need tension in a rope, especially if you're a tight walker. I tell you, if you don't have that tension and you're a tight walker, you're in trouble. You know, you need tension in the tone of your muscles in order to be able to, you know, really make the most of your muscle power. And what a great power that is too. And of course, when we have been lax and let them go into inertia, we know what that's about, don't we? And you just have to give up moving those muscles for maybe just 2 weeks when you feel you have to start all over again to tone them up and get them going. So tension is not a bad thing, it's not a good thing. It's how you perceive it and it's how you use it. So the negative form of tension, as we perceive it to be, is just a misunderstanding of tension, number one, or a misdirection of the energy the tension is. That's all it is. But this week we're going to be able to understand tension in such a way that we can use it to our good. Use it to our good. And yet, three-dimensionally speaking, if you look out into the world, and you just take a deep gander, as they say where I come from, at it all, there's a lot of angst, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of strain, there's a lot of tension, as we call it. There's a lot of stuff going on that we'd rather was not going on. And the experts, you know, in the field, whether they're experts in, you know, clinical psychology or medical doctors or spiritual practitioners, all say the same thing. If you want to cope with the stress and the strain and the angst and so on of life, what you have to do is to relax and let go. That's what they all say. Relax and let go. And especially in our modern day world, in you know, abundant countries, affluent countries, I mean, the pace is enormous. The pace is amazing. Everybody's doing what only Father Murphy used to do in Ireland 200 years ago, when you would say, "Hello, Father Murphy, how are you?" He'd say, "Oh, sure, I'm running." He never had time. He was like the Mad Hatter. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye, I'm late, I'm in, you know, and all of that. Anyway, that was the energy you got from Father Murphy, you know. You were fortunate if you got to even see the sight in your eyes, never alone. He was running. Well, now all the world is running. We're all harried, we're all harassed, we're all embedded in endless deadlines. Everybody has them. Deadlines. It's not surprising it's called a deadline, because those deadlines can deaden us a lot when we get so stressed out and so angst and so clenched and clamped and that feeling of imprisonment in this box called time that is relentless. And so there we are in this modern day world, in this, and even though technology gets more better, excels itself, it doesn't seem to de-stress us in any way if If actually, it actually adds to it in many ways. There was a time when you were out and about, nobody could get at you. Your cell phone wasn't always ringing, your text bell wasn't always going off, and so on and so forth. And when you were in a restaurant, you were eating in a restaurant, and that was that. Or when you were at home having dinner, you were having dinner, and that's that. Maybe the phone would ring every now and again, but that was it. But now, everybody has a piece of us at any time they want to have a piece of us. Anytime. So we have to do something about our stress levels and see what those deadlines are all about and see if they're worth the investment of our time, effort, and energy. There's so much energy that we have in a day, three-dimensionally speaking, if we're living according to three-dimensional thinking and feeling. And when that is expended, that is expended. On the other hand, if you're in that spiritual frame of mind where you know God by means of me is inexhaustible, but at the same time you've been given a body and I've been given a body, not to abuse and overuse, but to respect and take care of. And the body will only take a beating for so long before it's going to start annoying you and ailing you and trying to get your attention to say, enough already, enough already. And so what we have to do is make a decision about how our living is going to be, what our living is going to be, and how I want to feel in my living. How I want to feel in my living, that's very important. And if I'm feeling all the time harried and harassed and rushed and fussed and so on, it's not such a good living. I don't care what the bennies are, what the benefits are, what all the stuff and things and so on I can accrue because of my busyment. It's not fulfilling me, it's not satisfying me, and it's not meaningful enough to me if that is what is going on. So, relax and let go for what? So that you can get in touch with the peace that is within us and never has left us, that peace that passes understanding, a peace that is phenomenal, and a peace that helps us to live a life that we are enjoying, a life that we are at one with, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is meaningful, a life that is making a contribution and making the difference, not only in my own life, but to all life. That's what that peace does. But I'm not talking about peace at any price. Peace at any price is not peace. Peace at any price is a sellout, it's a cop-out. Peace at any price means I'm moving into complacency, I'm moving into apathy, I'm moving into settling for. I am settling for, which leads me into a life of quiet desperation. And that is all. So peace at any price does not work, and it is not peace. So that's not an option for people who are on their journey back into self-realization. This is not a way for truth students to be, or students who are interested in self-realization. This is not what we do. We don't settle for peace at any price. Neither is peace the relaxing and the releasing and the letting go of the tug rope. That tug rope is very important. When I let go of the tug rope, I collapse, I give up, and I give in. Well, that's not what we're meant to be in experience of. Collapsing and giving up and giving in. That tug, that torque, that tension is very important in your life and mine. The peace that passes understanding has to do with me awakening every day in that poise, because peace brings me poise. It's peaceful poise, poiseful peace. And I wake up in the day knowing I have something to accomplish in the day. There's something for me to do. I'm in the day because I'm on purpose. I have a purpose, and I'm asked to fulfill the purpose. I get up with something in mind for me to accomplish, and I need to have something to wake up for every day that I am going to accomplish. I need that to feed my soul. I need that. And so that's what this peace that passes understanding is all about. Understanding that. Now, make no bones about it, this peace that passes understanding only is achieved through intention, through focus, through commitment, and through follow-through every single day. It's very intentional. It's a resolution, it's an intention, it's a focus that keeps me moving from this poised center of my being. So that what I am accomplishing with grace and with ease, in peace and in joy, in loving relationship through creative expression. That's the way people on the way to self-realization are committed to that way of being. And you know, it's very easy really. When the world is getting at me, it's not getting at me, it's upsetting my ego. So, when the world can't get at me, it can only upset my ego. So when the world is upsetting my ego, I have a decision to make, I have a resolution to make. I have to ask myself, am I going to go for the jugular on this lunatic that's screaming at me? Am I really going to go for it big here and let them have it? Or am I going to think, how does the spirit that I am wish to express itself through me now? How does the godliness that I am wish to express itself through me now? How does the love that I am wish to express itself through me now? How does the wisdom that I am wish to express itself through me now? Does it really want to go for the jugular? It's a great question to ask yourself when your back is up against the wall and everybody's hammering on you, everything is hammering on you, life is hammering on you. So the ego thinks. That way we step out of the ego and we say, how am I, as an enlightening being, respond to this situation now? Do I go for instant gratification and the pleasure of telling someone off? Or do I go for peace and happiness by refraining to go to that level and to forget about the truth of my being and simply stay in that sense of me, small self me, egocentric me? It's a question we could all ask ourselves this week. It's a great week to ask it. It's a week we're invited to be happiness personified. Because on the 20th, we have the celebration, the second annual celebration of International or Global Happiness Day that came from the United Nations at the invitation of Bhutan. On the 20th, we're asked to wake up, make the decision to be happy, go out into the world, spread that happiness, add it to somebody else's life, and as a result of that, lighten the whole planet. Can you imagine, globally, people of all cultures and all kinds of jobs and situations committed to happiness on that day? Wow, I'm expecting to nearly walk on water come Thursday because the energy will be so light and so joyous, you see. And you're a big part of that, so remember. But I don't have to wait for one day every year to celebrate happiness. As a student of truth and as a person committed to self-realizing, I am indeed, it's on my agenda every single day to wake up and so be. And it's on yours too. And going back into the peace that passes understanding, it's not a peace that resists challenge, a peace that resists change. Not at all. There's no resistance in peace. Resist not evil, the scriptures say. And evil there means resist not anything. Anything that annoys you, upsets you, you don't want, you don't like, you're not in the mood for, whatever. Non-resistance is what we're called to, non-resistance. Why? Because what you resist will persist. Will persist. Mark my words. What you resist will keep grabbing you every turn and twist and not let you go, because resistance is imprisonment. That's what it is. Now, truth students don't see challenges as problems. They see challenges as projects. Projects, oh goody, I have another project to get together here and sort out and complete. I have a project to complete. So, we're okay with it. It's a project. There isn't a problem, it's a project. There isn't a challenge, it's a project. So many projects are you working on at the moment is the question. And the whole idea is you can do it. If it's before you because you can do it. You can go through it. And there's where that stretching comes in. What a truth student does is to stretch into the challenge and see the end of the challenge, knowing absolutely in faith that the means by which the end is to be accomplished must appear when I say okay to the process. So we stretch. Now, if you haven't been to your yoga class for a while and you go back into stretching, you know that what stretching beyond your comfort zone is all about. And yet, we've got to do it every way, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, stretch beyond our comfort. We have to stretch. When we least feel like stretching, we've got to stretch. We must stretch. And know that we can, because guess what? There's a stretcher in us that will stretch for us if we are willing and open and eager and keen to come into co-creation with it. I of myself do nothing. It is the power, it is the presence of spirit within me. And it's very good if you practice Tai Chi, if you can just get to practicing Tai Chi, moving slowly, it'll stop you from running. If you practice Tai Chi, it's all very, very beautiful. It's all very harmonious. It's all very wonderful. And you get that lovely sense, of flow. And you go into that sense of poise. And you go into that sense of peace. And nothing is on your mind except this beautiful activity that you're participating in. It's a beautiful thing. It's just that beautiful thing, It's just that beautiful thing. Some little thing like that can bring you down from your irritation. Just a little movement with the right frame of mind. Knowing that the energy within you is the chi energy, knowing that the energy within you is amazing grace, knowing that the energy within you that's doing the moving is godly. And it's a very real and present help as soon as you consciously call yourself to its presence. We do not call upon God to come to us. God didn't go anywhere, never went from us. God is right where we are, so under our noses that we cannot see it. What we're calling is consciousness up into the awareness that this is so. We're calling ourselves to consciousness. So we're not calling to God, we are calling from the awareness of the presence of God within us. And we're calling ourselves to the conscious awareness of that. Now, every single one of us is conscious. All of the time, even when we're snoring our heads off, we're conscious. What we're endeavoring to become is conscious consciousness. And there's a difference. I want to be consciously awake, consciously aware, consciously knowing that I'm in the flow of life and life's flow is in me. And if I come into cooperation or co-creation with it, it's going to flow more beautifully and I won't swim against the stream. I'll flow with the stream and all will be happy. And all will be wondrous, and all will be awesome, and all will be life-giving and life-contributing when I do that. Consciousness does that for us. Consciousness does that for us. Now, there's not a saint and there's not a sage who didn't know what the experience of divine discontent was all about. Divine discontent is that torque. It's that right balance in tension. It's that essential desire of spirit to expand itself and experience itself more and more and more by means of you and by means of me. Divine discontent, which means that when they had accomplished something, they'd moved through their challenge, they had finished their project, they knew there was something else for them to express and to experience. And so it was on to the next thing. So in that poise, which is a power, that's a force. Peace is a force. It's an awesome power. It's an energy. It's not this blob of a thing that just sits there, untroubled or troubling, just a blob. It's not. It's a moving force. It's a moving force. It's a power. It's a presence. It's an essence. It's vital. It's vigorous. It's energetic. It's dynamic. That's what it is. And it's in you, and it's in me, and it's in you, and it's in me to live from, to be in consciously. And then when all of the egoic stuff that comes from the world of the senses, the outside world, starts to descend upon us, all we do is to move into that conscious awareness that these things do not move me. These things are things. They have no power unless I give them power. He has no power unless I give him power. She's no power unless I give her power over me. They've no power unless I give them power over me. Those things have no power unless I give them power over me. I decide. I get to choose. I'm sovereign in my own life and living. I'm sovereign in my own kingdom. The kingdom is within me, and I'm the sovereign of that kingdom. And I get to rule that kingdom however I choose to rule it, whether I want to rule it wisely and well, or be an absentee landlord, and all the stages in between. It's up to me. I have the power. It is within me. It's divine. I couldn't give that power away if I wanted to. No matter how hard I try, I couldn't do that. I couldn't self-destruct no matter how many times I tried to self-destruct. It's impossible. It's impossible. It truly is to self-destruct. Because I am a dynamic force of infinite intelligence, and it is eternal, and it is eternal life, and it always will be eternal life, and that's who and what I am. Whether I know it or not, whether I believe it or not, whether I like it or not, or lump it or not, that's the truth of my being. And when I wake up in my next experience, I'll be in my next experience. I won't do what some people think, oh, well, this is it. Once you're finished here, that's it. It's all over. Oblivion. Well, aren't we in for a wonderful surprise on the other side? But we have to come to this understanding and awareness once and for all. I have everything I need right now, no matter how rotten my life has been until now. I have everything I need right now to flourish, to thrive, to advance, to unfold, to become in consciousness what I already am. An amazing, infinite point of power through which I can allow the radiant magnificence of life to flow through if I decide, or I can clamp it down if I decide. I decide how much of that radiant, infinite magnificence is going to flow through me, this point of power, through the way I think and through the way I feel and through the way I am in life and living and in the world. So do I let this much through or this much through? It's up to me. I am sovereign in my own consciousness. And no matter how much I might be imprisoned by others physically, I can never become a prisoner unless I think I am. And there are more prisoners outside of jails than there are inside of jails. Many, many more. We imprison ourselves. Do you think for 1 minute that Gandhi ever thought he was imprisoned? Or that Nelson Mandela ever thought he was imprisoned? Nobody could imprison those people. No one, but no one. Martin Luther King was never imprisoned. You see? So what is it going to be? You've got to shake it up this week, my dear ones. We are going to be everything that we can be this week. We're going to make the decision. We are going to decide happiness is where I live. Happiness is where I live. I choose to live in happiness this week. And everything else will fall into line and everything else will follow. And there's a book, a magazine called Live Happy. Live Happy. It's a fabulous book. The folk over in the folk over in the Montessori school know all about that. They have a big chart out there. It's beautiful, and indeed, Pauline gave me a subscription for it for this year, and it's fabulous. And in there, they state there are 4 elements to happiness, and one element is, of course, optimism. Optimism, very easily explained, is the glass half filling, full, and flowing over. And the next one is social connection. Well, yeah, of course. We'll socially connect to be happy. And the next point that they make is the point of meaning. You've got to have meaning. You've got to have meaning in your life to get up every day and get on with it. And meaning means, be careful about what you're doing, thinking, and saying, because it's causing an effect on you and everybody else around you. On you, and perspective, of course. You must have a perspective that comes from this peace and this poise, I say. But perspective is very important. Perspective is the glass half empty and sinking to emptiness, or is the glass half full and filling to overflow? So these are things for all of us to embrace this week. If one thing jumped out at you during this time we spent together, focus in on that and pay attention to it, because that's what's calling you. But I am knowing right here and right now that there's not one person in this room that's going to go through that door ever thinking anymore, ever again, that they are insignificant, that they are insufficient, and that they are insecure, because that's a thought in your head, and it's not the truth by any manner or means. You are the image, you are the likeness, you are the nature, and you are the essence of your source, your creator. That's who you are, and that will be the thing to contemplate and think about as soon as you start to sink into that way of erroneous thought and feeling. So I'm knowing for each and every one of us this week that we remember the beautiful promise that's always fulfilled. Come to me, come to me. Come to me when you're labored, when you're burdened, when you're down and out, when you're feeling helpless, and when you're feeling hopeless, and when you're feeling no one understands. Come to me, and I will refresh you. I will give you life. I will renew you. Come to me. So insource it all. Don't outsource it first. Insource it first, and then you'll be guided to outsource where you need to outsource. Come to me. Come to the conscious awareness that right where I am, God is, and where God is, all is well, and so it is for each and every one.
We invite you to experience Dr. Moira in person on Sundays. Our services are at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and childcare is available. Please join us. If you enjoy these messages and would like to make a donation to our center, please visit our website at RedondoCSL.org. Thank you for your support of this ministry.